everyone, it's Brittany and welcome back to Brittany Unplugged. And as you can tell by the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about what to do when you've been violated. Now, a lot of the times in different circumstances and different situations, people can violate us from the minute things to the very major things as well. But a lot of the times we go into either fight, fright, or flight mode. So it's better to avoid either going into fight, fright, or flight mode before, things get major. It's better to notice the signs that you're being violated from, very early on so that you have more of a choice in terms of how to deal with the situation. So if you want to know what to do when you've been violated, then keep watching. So let's start off by looking at what the definition of violating really is. This is when someone fails to comply. A lot of the times people can violate us in different circumstances. For example, you could be having a conversation with someone and they're probably like this close to your face. Number two, you could be in a relationship or you could be in a friendship where the person always feels the need to know what you're doing, but then what they do is more of a mystery to you. But then this person you end up feeling really suffocated because this person really won't get a grip and they won't let go of you type of thing. Even if someone touches us in a certain way that we're not comfortable with, or maybe your friend may do something to you, maybe they can call you out in front of other people and that leaves you feeling kind of small and makes you feel very embarrassed. That's also a form of violation. A lot of the times this happens on a daily basis, but I think we struggle to find ways to deal with it and to pick up the signs and really just how to pick up on, what to do when we've been violated. And I feel like it's something that's very common to say, no, I felt so violated. But then a lot of the times it really is something that people struggle to deal with because maybe the kind of person that, maybe the person who has been violated is not a very confrontational person, so they kind of just let it come. But then a lot of the times, the person who is violating you will always feel like it's okay because you haven't yet communicated on your part that you can't be doing this to me. So without further ado, the first thing to do when you have been violated is you need to realize that it is perfectly okay to walk away from a conversation. Now, I don't know what it is. Sometimes we can find ourselves in situations where we're having very uncomfortable conversations with people that we probably don't want to have, or the conversation could just be downright boring. But then I think we always need to remind ourselves that it is okay to walk away from that conversation. Let's say you're having a conversation with someone and they're saying things to you that are making you feel uncomfortable. A lot of the times the first response is to stand there, take it as it comes, and then you eventually go and report it to the group chat that, this person was saying this to me about this. But then you never really stop the person from saying that to you in the first place. So that's also a form of violation because if someone is saying things, knowing that you're uncomfortable by whatever they're saying, that is also then violating you. But it is up to you to understand that it is okay to walk away from a conversation. There is no sign that says, have a conversation with me, stick to me and have a conversation with me, no matter how uncomfortable it is. There's no sign that's telling you that you can't have that you can have a conversation with someone. If you're uncomfortable in a conversation, if you're in danger, it's okay to walk away from the conversation. Even if you feel like there's no benefit from it, it's okay to walk away from that conversation. Whether that person calls you rude, whether that person calls you nasty, at the end of the day, that's their opinion. But then that really won't change how the world works if they have an opinion of you. If you're uncomfortable, then you should stop it right there and then, because the next time you see that person and you just allow the cycle to continue, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So instead of just standing there and taking it and then going to report into the group chat that, I saw this guy, or I saw this girl and he or she did this and stuff like that, you need to stop it there and then. Whether you're telling them that, look, okay, please, maybe they're invading your personal space. When you tell them, look, can you please move back? I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. Or maybe you can just try and change the topic in the conversation. Or you can be very upfront with them and tell them that I'm not comfortable with this. Because if you don't share how you're feeling in particular circumstances, if you don't share how uncomfortable you're feeling in the moment, and the person is just going to think it's okay, you're giving them leeway to continuously violate you and overstep your boundaries as well. Because always remember and revert back to the definition of what violating is. So this is when someone is failing to comply or they're failing to obey your boundaries. They don't respect your boundaries. They know that you have boundaries, but they don't respect it. The moment you need to keep reminding someone of your boundaries, that's how you know that they don't respect you, because they'll be self-conscious and they'll be very self-conscious about how they present themselves to you the next time, because they're not going to, surely if they respect your boundaries, they're not going to repeat the same mistake again. They're going to try their best to make sure that they don't make you feel uncomfortable. So if you have to keep on reminding someone about your boundaries, you have to keep telling them, I don't like this, please stop doing this. And you have to always keep reminding them, particularly about the exact same thing, they don't respect your boundaries. always remember that you are in control of a number of things. If you're having a conversation with someone that's making you feel uncomfortable, unless it's a dangerous situation that you have to stay there, and I think if you're in a dangerous situation, be smart about how you navigate the conversation with that person. But under normal circumstances, if someone is making you feel uncomfortable, communicate it, and you can walk away from that conversation as well. There's nothing that is forcing you to stay except your overthinking self telling you that, oh no, what if? So just walk away from the conversation, or you can communicate. But then don't find yourself always communicating your boundaries to the exact same person. If you do, you need to keep your distance from them because clearly they don't respect you. Now, the second thing to do when you've been violated, and this kind of ties into the first point, is that you need to know that it is okay to cut ties with someone that can't respect your boundaries enough. Like I said, when you reach a point where you have to remind someone, you tell someone about your boundaries the first time, you tell them that I don't tolerate this, I don't like this, and you're very clear with them that this is what I don't like. They say, okay, fair and fine. Second time you meet them, they go and do the exact same thing that you told them that you don't like. Okay, third time, you keep on reminding them. If it's a cycle, a continuous cycle where you have to keep reminding the person of what you don't like and how far you'll go, you need to look at how that person will view you. If my friend tells me that they don't like someone, if I wrong my friend, for example, and they tell me, Brittany, you did this, I don't like the way you did this, and I really didn't appreciate that. If they're someone important to me, I'm going to make sure that the next time, I have an encounter with them, I'm not going to repeat the same mistake again, because why am I repeating something that I know that, because it ends up being quite deliberate. It's either they're doing it because they genuinely don't respect you, or they're doing it to annoy you. But boundaries are so important, because if you don't set boundaries, then you allow people to walk all over you. You end up being a doormat to so many people. So don't find yourself in a situation where you are always going to be someone's doormat, because you are in control of that. If you have a friend who always wrongs you, who always, hurts you, and you always keep reminding them and telling them that I really don't like it when you do this, and they keep on repeating it, and then you always feel the need to always tell them that, look, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. There's only so much energy that you can give until you can pull away. Because if you keep on reminding them that I don't like this, they're going to keep doing it. And it's very clear that they're not remorseful enough to really evaluate themselves and see how, they can't hurt you later on. So if you have to keep reminding someone of your boundaries, then you really, really, really need to see if this person is even worth reminding them of your boundaries, because they don't respect you enough to really look at themselves and make sure that they don't repeat that mistake with you. Just because this person has a special place in your heart, just because this person is your friend, this person is your significant other, does not mean, it's not an indication that you are bound for life. If they do something to hurt you consistently, after you keep telling them time and time and time again, then you can pull away from that. Because the moment you have to compromise your state of mind, you have to compromise your boundaries as a whole, the moment you have to try and squeeze your boundaries, try and fit theirs, then you need to take a step back from that relationship. Because the moment you communicate your boundaries once, that is, you are communicating what you are comfortable with. You're communicating how how you want things done. So if that person can't respect that enough, and you have to fit your boundaries to, match their expectations, take a step back from that relationship. Just because they held an important place in your heart, in your life, or whatever it may be, that doesn't mean that you have to stay. It doesn't mean that they're glue and you have to stick to them like this, because clearly they're not taking how you would feel into consideration the way you would as well. So just make sure that whatever you do in every form of relationship, you need to evaluate, do I need to keep telling this person that I don't like this? Does this person always do stuff that I always remind them of that really hurt my feelings and stuff like that? If you keep on asking yourself those things and the answer is yes, I do feel uncomfortable with them, yes, I always tell them this but they don't listen, take a step back from that relationship, because at the end of the day, it's your peace that you have to protect. You don't have to compromise that, but you have to protect it. There's a huge difference. Now, the third thing to know or to remember or to do when you've been violated is, and this is something that I think a lot of us struggle with, because there tends to be this fear of saying no, just in general, because of course the first instinct is that you wouldn't want to hurt someone else's feelings, but it is completely okay to change your mind about things if you have more information on something or someone. Let's say you make plans with a friend to go out. Let's say you plan on going to the movies, or you plan on going shopping or something like that, and then something arises and you find out that that friend of yours is either jealous of you, they're just using you, or they're trying to get information out of you. It's okay to pull away and say, in fact, it's fine, I can't go out, because you know for a fact that friendship is toxic and you want nothing to do with that and you want to separate yourself from that energy, it is completely okay to pull away when you have more information, because there's nothing wrong with being more informed about something, because you would have saved yourself at the end of the day. But the most important thing is that you can't let someone invalidate you because you have changed your mind about something. It is completely okay to change your mind about something, even if you have a gut instinct about someone, or you have a gut instinct about going to that particular place and you want to pull away from that. It is completely okay to do that at the end of the day, because usually your gut never lies. Your gut doesn't lie at all, period. So if your gut is telling you that, maybe I shouldn't go here, you know what, maybe I shouldn't really attempt going there because I just feel like it's going to be bad news. It's okay to pull away from that and change your mind. But then don't allow other people to say, well, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Why are you being so horrible? Why are you being uptight and stuff like that? Because then you end up getting swayed by their opinions. Imagine if you go there and maybe there's a bomb or something like that. Then you'll be like, man, I should have listened to my gut. Why didn't I do that? And stuff like that. Because it'll be very detrimental to you at the end of the day if you don't listen to your gut. Don't ignore that feeling that you have. If you have a feeling about something, don't ignore it and just act on it. So if it's okay to set boundaries by also pulling away. So if you have more information on someone, you have more information on something, or your gut is telling you that maybe this isn't okay, pull away from it, because you're protecting yourself. Part of setting boundaries, part of the process of avoiding yourself from being violated, is that you are protecting yourself, you're protecting your boundaries. Of course, if it's a circumstance that you can control in terms of preventing yourself from being violated, because I know there are a number of circumstances that happen. Maybe you're at a party and something happens and you're not in control when you're violated. That's completely different. If you are in control of it and you change your mind about something, number one, don't let anyone else invalidate you and make you feel bad for changing your mind about something which you know is going to hurt you at the end of the day. Number two, you need to make sure that you ask yourself, okay, what do I want from this? What am I going to gain from it? Once you answer those questions and you realize maybe it's not good enough for you, or that person isn't good enough for you, then you can pull away from it. Because imagine, like the first example that I used, imagine if you do make plans to go out with a friend and then you hear that they're saying a bunch of things about you, they've said a bunch of things about you, they're really not being real to you. What's the point of going out and spending time with them, wasting your energy, knowing that they really couldn't care less about you? Now, the fourth thing to do when you have been violated, or the thing to consider when you have been violated, if you are in the process of being violated, right? If someone is maybe overstepping your boundary, maybe they've said something about you, maybe, like I said, maybe you're at a party, your friend says something bad about you in front of other people just to make you look bad, or a number of those small circumstances like that, you need to be assertive. Now, there is a difference, a very big difference, a very, 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 very big difference between being assertive and just being downright bitchy. There's a difference between being assertive and being rude. Those are two completely different things. Assertive doesn't mean that you're being harsh. Assertive doesn't mean that you're going to hurt someone else's feelings. Assertive doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be condescending to someone else to get your point across. Being assertive means that you are getting your point across in a very stern manner so that people can understand and respect you enough to know that, okay, this person doesn't tolerate this. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a horrible person to anybody else. The nicest person in the world, someone who would not hurt a fly, can be assertive with someone, because if you're assertive, then it shows that you're serious. It shows that you're straight to the point and you don't want any games. It's better to just be a no-nonsense person as well. But that doesn't mean that you have to hurt someone else's feelings in the process as well. So if someone oversteps your boundary, if you're having a conversation with someone and they're standing too close to you, you've told them once that please can you move back, or you move back. Right, second time they do it again. Rather than saying, please go away, you smell, you're ugly, please just stand away from me, that's just being rude. But then if you say to them, I'm very uncomfortable right now, so can you please take a step back, or I'm just going to walk away from this conversation. That's you being assertive, because you're not being rude, you're not targeting anyone's feelings, you're not hitting a nerve. You're telling them this is how it is, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm not comfortable with. A lot of the times when you are assertive with someone that can't handle it, they will try and flip it around on you. They'll try and gaslight you to make you seem like you're crazy, to make you seem like you are being bitchy when you're not being bitchy. That's what they'll do. They'll try and turn it around on you and make it seem like, oh, you're just a horrible person, because they can't take the fact that you have been assertive. When you are setting boundaries, it's okay. People's feelings are going to be hurt along the way. people's feelings are going to be attacked because maybe you're the kind of person that, you know, hasn't really set boundaries before. Maybe people know to walk all over you. So once you tell them how it is and you tell them what you're comfortable with, automatically they'll have something to say about you because, you know, it's something that's out of your general character, for example. So don't be swayed by that. It's okay to tell people what you're comfortable with. It's okay to tell people, you know, where you stand and like the things that you will tolerate and the things that you won't tolerate. But then, you know, some people will always have something to say about you when you're outside of your comfort zone. People will probably see that now maybe you were quiet before, but now you're actually speaking up for yourself. Someone is always going to have something to say about you when you are doing something outside of the norm. You just need to prepare yourself for that. Be assertive and just tell them how it is. Now, the fifth and final thing you need to do when you have been violated is you need to ask yourself if you're willing to stay in the comfort zone where you don't communicate your feelings. You just need to know that unless you say something, if you choose to keep quiet, the answer will always be no. So meaning that someone will continue to disrespect you. If you want to tell someone that they must respect you, the answer will always be no unless you say something about it. If you choose to keep quiet, people will continue to feel the need to overstep your boundary. People will choose not to see your worth, not to see your value, because the moment you communicate your boundaries, the moment you communicate what you will tolerate and what you don't tolerate, then you also understand and accept the fact that you do have a worth, you do have a value. Other people need to be aware of that as well. Now, how people respond is absolutely none of your business. If someone else responds, and if you communicate your boundaries to someone and someone else responds in a manner that's probably not that nice, that is absolutely none of your business, because how people respond is totally not a reflection of who you are. You probably have just told them something. You know, a lot of the times the truth hurts. When the truth hurts, people either take it nicely or they don't take it well at all. Now, the best way to detect someone's character and the best way to detect whether that person is being real to you is that if they respect the fact that you told them that you don't like something and you actually see them change their actions towards you the next time they see you, then it shows that they're actually willing to respect you enough to know not to overstep that boundary. So if someone responds in a way that's either spiteful or they respond in a way that's just, you know, very arrogant to you and they don't really change that much, then it just goes to show that they don't respect your boundaries that much. If someone comes to you and, you know, they are violating you and you do tell them how you're feeling and then, you know, they continue to act the same way afterwards and there's not really that much of a change, they never really respected your wants in the first place. Because especially if this person is important to you, they're going to take the active steps to make sure that they do not repeat that mistake again. So you need to it's also a good way of detecting someone else's character. So even if you fall out with a friend or something happens with your partner, or maybe you get into a fight with someone who's important to you or something like that, and then you say how you're feeling to the person and you say, I don't like when you do this. I really feel like, you know, you haven't been acting, you know, nice enough to me or something like that. And then they maybe say, okay, yeah, fine, I'll fix it, for example. And they kind of revert to their old ways. It just goes to show that they weren't really taking your boundaries into consideration the next time, because someone who really did care about your boundaries enough would be conscious of how they act with you and they'll be conscious, you know, to not make that same mistake again. So you'd also need to just ask yourself, are you willing to stay in that comfort zone where you just keep quiet? Always ask yourself that. And if you don't want to stay in that comfort zone where you keep quiet and you allow people to continuously violate you, then just make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where, you know, people can continuously step on you, because you are in control of your own life. You are the master of your own destiny. So make sure that you speak up when necessary. If someone is doing something that you don't like, just stop it from the jump, because a lot of the times the small things lead into bigger things as well. So I hope this video helped you, and I hope all of the things I mentioned helped you, and I hope you take them into your stride as well. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Stay safe, everyone. God bless you all. Bye.